Alright, so I've seen this video kind of going around between YouTubers on the Facebook group, and I'd like to say that I'm very interested, and I love seeing what other people have for answers to these questions. And me being the person I am, I decided to do my own version of it as well. I mean, no one really challenged me per se, but I did hear about it through one of the subscriptions that I have. Shout out to MateoPotato, because he's where I found this from, and he actually does some great content. But enough about that, let's get on with the show. This is my tag Q&A questions video. Favorite Transformer in your collection? I'd have to say that is Cybertron Optimus Prime. When I first got that figure, oh my gosh, even before, I was pining after that figure for so long. And the moment I actually got it, cause it was a mint in box figure, oh my goodness gracious, I was so happy, and I'm still so happy that I have it. And especially it being an Optimus Prime, you know, that kind of makes it a little bit better as well. And it being Cybertron, you know, one of my favorites. So yeah, Cybertron Optimus Prime. Most expensive / valuable figure. Microblade Creations Military Titans. It was a super expensive figure when I got it. It's not anywhere anymore. I haven't seen it. Even before I got it, it was off BBTS, it was off TF Source. I had to get mine on eBay with an entire lot of other Combaticons, which I'm pretty sure I showed you in an unboxing video. He was expensive, and he's super valuable now, and he's kind of rare, almost in a sense. But he's such a great figure, and I'm really happy to have him. How many figures do you have? I remember seeing this in MateoPotato's video, and he has like close to, I think he said in the 600 range. I have nowhere near that amount. Probably around 100, maybe. Counting figures that are in my room right now and then up in the other spare box. Yeah, I'm just kind of working on trying to get figures that I want to have for a perfect collection, as well as figures for Battlegrounds, so yeah. Worst figure in your collection? God, that's a tough one. I guess I'd have to say Titans Return Octone, whichever. He's not a bad figure particularly, but when I was done messing around with him in 5 Shots 5 Bots 2, which just got uploaded semi-recently, I had no desire to turn him back and forth. And the transformation, you can see in that video, I was having a kind of a bit of trouble, but it just wasn't that fun. I mean, he's a fine representation for Octane, but it's just like, I didn't have a whole lot of fun messing around with him. Best place to pick up Transformers? Well, where I'm living now, it's a small town, and the only thing that I've got is a Walmart, so I'd have to say that. But when I was living in Omaha, there was a lot of Walmart and a lot of Targets. There was a Toys R Us, rest in peace. And there was a lot more opportunities out in Omaha, but where I'm at now, it's like, I don't have a whole lot of options. What do you want next? For figures that I would like next, I actually have a list, but I'll keep this down to like the 3 figures that I want the most. And one of them's Battlegrounds, one of them's a Legends class figure that I really have been wanting to get for a while, and one of them is one of the newer figures. So the figure for Battlegrounds I need to get is Cybertron Hotshot, which I've heard is a great figure, and I need a representation for Hotshot, and you'll see why. For a Legends class figure that I really have been wanting to get, but never did when it was coming out, Generations Tailgate. Ever since Misfortune came out on T-Fanpage 101's channel, which you definitely should check out, I've just had this yearning for that Tailgate figure, because it just looks like a fun figure, and with the repro labels that goes on it, it seems like it could make it even better. So that might be one of the few times, if not the only times, I actually buy repro labels. And yeah, I know there's a Tailgate coming out in Power of the Primes, but that's just a repaint of Windcharger. And I kind of like having a Tailgate and Windcharger being their own type of thing. Like, the Windcharger, yeah, it's G1, it's meant to look like that. But the Tailgate, it's IDW, it's that's the representation for Tailgate that I would actually like. So I like having the distinction between two. For Power of the Primes, I definitely want to pick up the Terrorcons, but to condense it down a little bit, I want to get Rippersnapper. And I've seen him in stores lately, so maybe once I get money, I'll actually pick him up. But he just looks really cool with the mutated shark body, and when he's in robot mode, he's got Wolverine claws. So maybe I'll have a Hugh Jackman voice if I ever decide to use him for stop motions. Alright, first Transformer I bought. The first Transformer that I actually got starting my collection, I didn't actually buy it, but was the Leader Class Optimus Prime. But the first figure I actually bought myself, I think was the Final Battle Jazz from 2007. I can't remember. It's been over 10 years now. Either that or the Premium Series Ironhide. I don't know. It's so difficult to remember. It's been over 10 years. I think that might have been it, though. Official or third party? Honestly, like, this is kind of like a personal preference type of thing for each collector. Because I love official figures, and for me, it would kind of lean more towards official. But, like, third party figures have been so great lately that it's just so hard to ignore. And there are definitely some third-party figures that everyone's going to want in their collection, at least one. And then there's that whole argument about third-party and KO basically being the same thing, but, like, I feel like there's a distinction. I don't know why I'm getting into that conversation. That's not even part of the question. But basically, to sum it up, I'm leaning more towards official because there's a lot of figures in official that I would like to get, and there are things that are official that I could customize things into, but there are third-party figures that are so good that they're just cannot be ignored, and everyone I think is going to want at least one third-party figure in their collection at some point in their life. I don't know. That's just my take on it. Favorite character. This is going to be a cliche, but it's Optimus Prime. I know, but like, to me, just like seeing him go from Orion Pax, how he used to be. He was a data clerk in the archives of Icon before the war, and he stepped up and did what he believed in because he wanted to, and he became a Prime. He did such amazing things, and it's kind of inspirational. It makes me think that I can actually do things with myself that on any other given day I never would believe that I could because of the way that I am. Plus, blue and red, my favorite colors. It's just like, yes. Favorite series / toy line. Alright, so for favorite series, you guys have already seen animated. That's my favorite TV series. It took a lot to get to that point, but animated is just amazing. But for toy line, I actually have to go with the Classics Universe Generations, Combiner Wars Titan Turn, Power of the Primes. The Chug line. I am completely in love with Classics. And I actually am trying to go back and get Classics figures, because I really want Classics to be my number one, because like Classics is just so vast. It goes from the Classics through Universe, through Generations, even through Combiner Wars Times Returns and Power of the Primes. It's just like, that's where it started, and it's become so expansive with all these other lines that have come after it. And it's just like, this is where it started, and I definitely do want to get figures from this as main representatives of characters, but like, even with like the future lines that came after it, it's just like, it's so cool. So, Classics. Classics, Universe, Generations, and so forth. That's my favorite toy line. Bayverse, yay or nay? Yay to an extent. I really think that the Bayverse, I think I talked about this before, but I really think that the Bayverse should have stopped at Dark of the Moon. Age of Extinction and The Last Knight, in my personal opinion, are not great. I had fun watching Age of Extinction the first time around, but then it's just like, the more I thought about it, it's just like, there's so many problems and that I just cannot ignore with that movie. And it just makes me upset. And then when I saw The Last Knight, I didn't enjoy a whole lot of it, and looking back on it, it just makes me mad because there are just so many problems I missed. These last two movies, as movies, haven't been great. The toys have been pretty good, but it's like, I don't know, I can't find myself to enjoy it. So, Bayverse, yay to an extent. Did Hot Rod kill Optimus Prime? I think that MateoPotato in his video said it best. He was just trying to help, and yeah, he was told not to help him because it's Prime's fight. He really shouldn't have gotten in the way. I don't know. It's a loaded question that's kind of difficult to answer. Cause yeah, he did make some very monumental mistakes that led to the death of Optimus Prime. But even so, like afterwards, he was chosen by the Matrix in a way to become the leader that the Autobots needed next, instead of Ultra Magnus. It shows Rodimus, after becoming Rodimus Prime, being a good leader in the Season 3 and Season 4. He was a decent leader until Optimus Prime came back. He did a good job, I would think. He did as good of a job as Optimus Prime could have. I don't know if Optimus in G1 would have blamed Rodimus for his death. That's just how Optimus is. He's not exactly the blame type of guy. He just kind of sees the bigger picture of all the good things that happened. So I guess for that question, I don't really have an answer. I kind of am just like seeing the bigger picture, that yes, Rodimus made some mistakes that led to the death of Optimus Prime, but in doing so, he became a decent leader himself and did his best to protect Earth, Cybertron, and all other inhabitants of both worlds and of the universe. He did as good a job as Optimus Prime would have, I think. And with that, we are actually out of questions. So thank you so much to everyone for watching. Shout out to MateoPotato for challenging me in kind of a way, and also for just being like a cool dude. He makes some great content. He actually did a TFIA animated highlight on his channel, so you should definitely check that out. So, but if you guys want to do this, I definitely encourage you to do it. And if you want to tell me your answers to these questions, if you have a video to things, leave them down in the comments. So that's it from me. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been 01 Trans Fan, the #1, and I'll talk to you all next time. Take it easy.